live, Christian, so it should be coming on. It is? Okay, great. All right. All right, so we're up and running, Val. Would you like to start with timekeeper and
Yeah, let's do
normal
that.
stuff?
So last time we met, I believe, timekeeper was CCEA, so willing to be for CCSD, the service timekeeper. Keep an eye on the clock for us. Okay, thank you. Checked. And CCEA for gatekeeping, speaking order, please. Bree, thank you. Okay. So we've made some pretty good progress. Last time we met, we went from 9 tentative agreements to 25 tentative agreements, and all articles in both contracts have now been open for review. At this point, we have, I believe, 3 articles in each contract remaining to be addressed. And those would be the teacher and support personnel rights, Article 7, the teaching conditions and working conditions, Articles 8, and compensation and insurance. So where would you like to begin?
Well, what I'd like to start with is if you have a counter proposal for the compensation insurance, so that way we can have a copy of that and digest that while we talk about the other things, similar to what we did before.
Yeah.
That gives us time to
Yeah, then we
kind of
go to
think it through.
caucus, we'll be
Yeah.
able to move things.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll work. I have a copy, thank you.
So I would just like everyone to know that Val is
Thank you.
throwing you to the wolves. So I'm going to be presenting the counter.
Hey, not a problem.
A warm interaction, a warm interaction.
So basically, the team met, and this is the district's proposal. We have just made an addition. So you'll see under instructional down at the bottom, we're asking for a non-reoccurring retention supplement. The reason we're asking it be as supplement so that it can count towards everyone's retirement, and we have calculated in the fringe at 22.3%. Support, everything stays the same, except again at the bottom, a non-recurring retention supplement. And everything else remains the same. The reason we're asking for that is because, as we've said, folks are just having a hard time, and while we know that the district's funds are tight as well, this would not be something that was recurring. It would just be the one-time shot for this year.
So that 1.1% added to the 0.9 salary adjustment would put people at 2% compensation improvement on the year, which falls in line with what we're seeing as sort of the average across the state where economics are landing. I know that Kim has peppered you with questions on budget practices, and what kinds of position salaries, benefits might be paid from capital, things like that. Having looked carefully and reviewed, I think we understand the financial type that the district is in. What we're looking for is something that's a compromise and a bit of a temporary fix. But also share that between instructional and support, we've had a little over 30 vacancies that have persisted across the two units. It looks like we're at about 19 in holding in the instructional unit, around 16 in support. And with a quarter of the year already gone by, factoring in for fringe, we're looking at about $422,000 in existing budget that has not yet been expended, would not be needed for this year, that could help offset that non-recurring ask.
Now, in the instructional side, a lot of those are filled with subs. So there is a cost that's already being associated with the open position. So if we're talking about the open positions, it's not the full amount. They aren't all vacant and empty. If they were, our classes would be even more full than they are now. So that has to be taken into account as well.
Okay, so are those positions, the vacancies that are posted, they're still open? We're still looking to hire?
Yeah, that's why they're posted, yes.
Okay. And we have long-term subs in those positions right now?
All of them, I can't say they're in all of them, but I know they're in a lot of them.
And we pay a little bit more if these are certified folks that are in
And
those
if they're
positions.
long-term, they get paid more than a daily rate, and if they're long-term with a degree, they get paid more, and if they're long-term with a certificate, they get paid more. Please don't ask me which one is which and where. I just know that we have long-term subs in quite a few of these positions.
Right, but we're not paying benefits on those folks.
Some of them do get some benefits, some of them get FRS. I'm not sure exactly which ones. I just know every now and then I'll see a sheet, they'll say FRS yes next to some of the names. I'm not sure exactly which ones. I haven't delved down in deep into it. I just do know we have a lot of long-term subs out there in those positions. Because if we close the positions completely, then those kids would be going to an elementary, they'd just be going into other classrooms completely. And in middle and high school, they would be, depending on the subject matter, they'd be going into other English teachers or science teachers or something like that. So just to keep that one in mind. Okay. There's a, thank you for giving us this, we'll talk about that after we caucus. Some of the language things that you brought forward, we do have a few counters. I don't really have them.
You want to project so we can look at them
Oh, we can do that.
on the screen? Didn't save printing? 'Cause
Well,
I-
we can try.
We're concerned
Last
about
time we
trees,
tried
right?
this, it made the whole thing start blinking. You want to hand me your cord out of there? We'll see how this goes. From the last time we made the freak out. Just throw it up there. There you go.
Which article would you like to start with?
It's instructional materials.
Teaching conditions, Article 8?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, so your proposal was in red, or shall provide adequate teaching materials, supplies, textbooks, and operable equipment. The barred in blue was just the original part that was in there. Everything else was new. Our counter is this. In green, the board will provide adequate teaching materials and textbooks when these materials are in the possession of the board. It's responsibility of the teacher to report in writing to their administrator if there's a need for additional teaching materials, textbooks, or if there's any inoperable equipment. So if we do not have textbooks because it's an adoption year, we cannot provide textbooks if we don't have it. If they're in our possession, we will get them to the teachers because we don't want to store them and we'd rather them be with the teachers and the kids. So that's what that one is for. When they're in the possession of the board, we will get them out as soon as we can. And the other part, if there's something that's inoperable, it's important that the teacher report it in writing to the administrator, not, please don't take us the wrong way, as we're passing in the hallway, my BenQ's not working, and while they're trying to wrangle a kid who's,
Right.
so, it's not meant as a punishment, just in writing. Please put it in writing so there's documentation as to not just the inoperable equipment, but if there's need for additional teaching materials, that should include quantity of what we would need. And then the other part would remain, the teach, lesson plans, that was already in the contract.
Okay.
And I'll email this to
Right, I
you in just a minute,
can
okay?
incorporate it back in.
All right. Okay. All right, now you know me, so the next part is just a little further down on the page. All right, so planning period, this original proposal, the contract language, right up there at the top, the red, at minimum, teachers will have 120 minutes weekly, uninterrupted, self-directed planning and preparation time. All right, our counter proposal is the part that's highlighted. Schedule shall provide teacher planning minimum 30-minute blocks for a total of not less than 150 minutes per week. 60 of those 150 minutes will be self-directed planning and preparation time. And all the rest of it is language that was already in the contract.
And that's the 60 would be of the 150 weekly minutes.
Would be
that-
self-directed planning and preparation time.
And with the intention that those are minutes that occur during the student
Yes,
contact day.
schools should make every effort to, that's why I was,
Gotcha.
we could put the 60 minutes, but it's 30-minute blocks in there, so the 30-minute blocks are part of the 60. So that's why I didn't want to muddy that much more, put 60 minutes and then they're 30-minute blocks. And if we can massage that if you would prefer the 60 minutes, but if they're 30-minute blocks and there's a 60-minute one, I didn't want there to.
We've got a question here. Aren't the planning time blocks about 45 minutes?
Not everywhere. In middle and high school where they have periods, they are.
Elementary is over 30.
Yeah, in elementary it's different, yeah.
40, okay.
Yeah, it's
Just-
different.
just-
No, it's okay, yeah. And in middle and high school, it's easier with the bells and class periods. It makes it easier to kind of really find that. But in elementary, it's a little more
Okay.
challenging.
I understand.
So that's the second one. I'll
And
email.
we're still saying that it's minimum of 60 of the
Yeah.
150.
Of the 150, 60 of those will be self-directed.
So at least.
Yeah,
So it may be 90, it may be 120, it
Mhm.
may be more.
yes. But now, if there's a short week, it won't fall into that. Like Veterans Week, this week is 3 days.
Okay.
So we have weeks like that where we can't guarantee there's going to be 150 minutes because we have 3 days of school.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why that part was put up there on the top. And the only reason why the uninterrupted is not put in there, we do have Alice drills, we do have fire alarms, we do have those types of things, not to. But as we talked about, for future people who are reading this, whenever I'm no longer doing this, try to create some clarity in that. And then the next one, the test security. I relied on Mrs. Crowell and her department help with this, because I haven't done this in a long time. Only change would be in the green, would be the added language, shall be offered formal training, and then cross out the individual testing accommodation part.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm sorry, Christian.
So just to make sure I'm understanding the practical change here, was the thought process perhaps that, people are absent? I know that at my school and every school I've heard of currently, the formal training on testing is something that's like, it's mandatory, you gotta be there. This thought process was it'll be offered because if you miss and then you miss the backup, you can't really help that. And on individual, we'll train you on accommodations, any accommodations you might see, but not really, like, we're not gonna hold your hand through what little Jimmy might see. Like, could we talk about the thought process behind those changes a little
Ms.
bit?
Crowell, would you
Sure.
feel comfortable?
You're right with the formal training piece being, because there is definitely people makeups wise,
Mhm.
that they might need to be trained that week of. They are going to be instructed individually wise for accommodations.
Okay.
However, as part of that formal training, we have a general accommodations training with that. but then after that, they will individually know about what is happening. It's just that might not happen it might be within 1 week of testing due to, say, an IEP meeting is that week, or a 504 meeting, or something like that happens, and a new accommodation comes. By putting that no less than 1 week, we're now limiting that, that was the piece, but they are still gonna be getting individualized accommodation instruction. It just might not fall into that 1 week apart.
Gotcha. Thanks, Matt.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
It's been a long time since I've done testing, so thank you. I appreciate that. I did not understand everything. That was, when you started to talk about this, I told you I'd have to get some help on that one. So we have these three counters there. I asked Mr. Goolsby to be here because some of the things you brought up about student discipline and things like that, I asked him if he could help with that, us kind of work through that process, because this one's pretty involved. First, let me send this to you all, and then we'll. Todd, which one would you like to talk about first?
Statute-wise or just the questions?
The questions, and then we can go to the statute.
The questions probably in order, or probably,
Yeah, so which one do you have up there at the top of you?
just instructional?
Yeah, the instructional on, where did we pull it up? And I'm a cursor here. There it goes. We're talking
So
about,
I had K 1, 2, 3, and
not that one. That one we don't have a problem with. That one we're all good with, right?
Yes.
That one, okay.
Yeah.
Dress code, we talked about that one. We got that one. That one. There we go. All right. I might have hit an enter button on here, so don't stress about that one. This district student code will be enforced at all grade levels. Yes, it is a K-12. Teachers will establish classroom rules and consequences and shall have input on the school's discipline plan. That one I do have a question on. I don't know if discipline plans are redrawn up every year. So it may not be that, whenever they do a revision, seeking input is one thing, but it may not be something that's reinvented. Maybe too strong a word, but that was a question as to what that part meant on that. Are we talking about every year they go and redo the entire discipline plan, or?
I don't know that that's necessarily what we were looking for. I know that the intent in ensuring there's input into a school-wide discipline plan is the hope that broaden the buy-in and increase the fidelity with which it's implemented, right? If people have the opportunity to give a nod and provide input and say, oh, yeah, that makes sense, and they've kind of checked that box, it's a little bit of a, okay, now follow it kind of scenario. So I'm supposing that if the school's discipline plan is established with input and then remains unaltered at the time that it's altered, it makes sense to gather more input.
So upon revision, so when it's being, a revision sounds kind of bad, maybe not real. What's a better word than revision?
How about when it is developed or revised?
Developed or revised, would that make sense?
Okay,
All right, are you writing that down, or do you want me to?
I'm writing it
I
down.
have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
The word when, that kind of sticks out to me, so it could be done this year, or you could skip it and be done next year, so I just want when to be, I just want to be more clear on the word when.
How
Does
about
anybody
having
understand what I'm saying?
at such time that it's developed or revised?
Okay, that
Okay,
sounds better to me.
I'm done. That makes sense to
Because
me.
when is so vague.
Okay, thank you. I mean, no, I understand exactly what you're saying now. I'm good with that, Val, that makes sense. Okay, so teachers be entitled to access student discipline. All right, so number 3, Todd, we talked about this one. The teachers will be entitled to access student disciplinary records, students under their supervision as an aid in determining disciplinary recommendations concerning those students. They have access to disciplinary records of their students. Is that?
They're rostered students.
Yes.
Students that are rostered to them.
Yes. So is that what the question is, or? Okay, because I know Skyward has that, and I do believe Focus should have that as well. Please don't hold me 100% to that one, but it should. That was what we were told. So if that's what we're asking about, then we're good with that one.
So then let's talk about an expansion, this might be read a different way.
Okay?
If I've been given responsibility for supervising a group of students, say during a club time, and there's not actually a roster or something, does that exist? Are there moments in a day when I might be responsible for supervising students that are not rostered to me?
I know in the elementary school, excuse me for not raising my hand, we often split our classes when there's no substitute. So, we try our best when we do our split list to list certain things so that teacher can be aware of it. Sometimes it's not on there, so that is, because those students are with them all day. So that is something that happens in the elementary school.
But the only way to accommodate something like that would be to have every teacher tied to every kid on the campus.
Well, and
potentially.
I can tell you, we just got an audit finding about people having more access. I want to say it was counselors and whatnot, having more access than they had to have. That was an audit finding we just had.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure under FERPA, we're only entitled to
Yeah.
information on students that are on our roster.
I get exactly what Ms. she brings up, and I would say, Christian, like in middle school, it used to be bouncing, but it was, I don't know what it's called now.
Restart.
Restart, if you got a kid who's not one of yours over there, you know his name, you know, Billy, but you don't know anything about Billy, and,
So then do we need to fix the wording, so instead of students under supervision, it's students rostered to the teacher?
rostered students, okay, who's being entitled to access to care of students, rostered students.
Students on their classroom rosters?
I understand what you're saying, Val, I'm just trying to figure out what the best way to write it down is. Rostered students on. Students on their roster.
Included in their roster?
Students on their instructional roster.
Teachers will be entitled to access disciplinary records of students included in their instructional rosters as an aid in determining disciplinary recommendations.
That makes sense, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page here, it's just sometimes the verbiage gets a little bit tricky to, that's not gonna be misconstrued in 10 years, is it now? Like windsuits and other stuff.
Rosters, what are rosters?
That's a good point, all right, so this next one is where I really need Mr. Coolsby's help with. In accordance with Florida Statute 1003.32, parens 3, teacher may refer to student administrator recommendation of appropriate consequence. I'm not reading the rest of that stuff. All right, so what we did was I printed up the statute so we can kind of look at it.
Okay.
I just have to figure out which one I'm looking at here. No, not this one. Only made 15 copies, so I may have to pull up the statute. Of course, it's the last one. Want to pass that out, sir? All right, so.
We have a,
Wait, while you're passing that out, back on number 3, can I ask, it says teachers will be entitled to access disciplinary records of students under their supervision and aid of disciplinary recommendations concerning behaviors. Is there a reason that it's disciplinary recommendations instead of behavioral or behavior?
We were really trying to scaffold the language off of what is permitted by statute. And in statute, teachers are given authority to be able to suggest or recommend the
Okay, so
appropriate disciplinary response. So that's not necessarily, I mean, behavioral could be a more expansive view of how that information might be used. But we were really trying to make sure that we are putting in sort of layperson's terms how statute applies
That makes sense. I was just curious, because out of our office, like, we really talked a lot more about, like, what are we gonna do to, like, support and change behavior,
Behavioral.
as opposed to, like, just using the word discipline all the time. I feel like it, you know, kind of over time becomes a negative connotation.
I don't think that.
But I also acknowledge that in disciplinary records, like right now, it is discipline records. When you put them in Skyward, it's titled discipline, so that makes
Right.
sense to me.
Right.
So I was just curious, that's all.
All right, so number 4, in accordance with 1003.32, Prince 3. So, we'll take a look at that. We're looking at this one. Teacher may send a student. Oh, I scrolled through the wrong one. Okay. Want everybody, I pulled up so everybody could take a look at it if they wanted to.
That's it.
To maintain effective discipline in the classroom, may recommend appropriate consequence. Okay? So, just to make sure we're all kind of on the same page here, this is what number 4 says. The action to be taken by insurance referral. The administrator determines the lesser disciplinary action is taken. Is there anything different in this than we have written in the statute? That's why I just want to make sure that if it appears as though we're kind of quoting statute here, I just want to make sure that everything is the same as we have written in statute.
Yeah, statute kind of leaves it if it's the administrator's determination that what was recommended or a more severe level of discipline is warranted. It doesn't require going back to the teacher for any kind of consult. They can move forward. Anything that is less than would be consulting with the teacher before taking the disciplinary action.
All right, but now, in statute, it says the principal should consult with the teacher before taking disciplinary action, not will consult, right?
But it also says that the principal shall notify the teacher of any decision regarding discipline or lack thereof. And then the last sentence says if the principal deviates in any way from the teacher's recommendation, the principal must provide the reasons for such any deviation in writing to the teacher.
I think our intent was that dialogue prior to a decision determination being rendered helps smooth a lot of concerns for people. It says that I read your recommendations, took them into account, and here's what I saw and why we're gonna do something a little bit different. As opposed to just reporting after the fact, here's what we did and why. I think the important thing is that educators wanna know if we've written a student up, anybody who's a teacher like I was, by the time you get to that point, you're writing them up, boy, it's time to do something, right? And so, having, response acknowledged in a way that says, I hear you and I understand why you made this recommendation, here's the way we're looking at it, and we're gonna move forward like this, is a sign that the teacher's party to that, decision-making. So, I don't know that this contorts the meaning of statute in any way, if anybody reads it that way, I don't know.
In the last line, any action taken in response to the teacher's issuance of referral, student made available to such teacher. Now, we talked about this a little bit last time about how, we talked about it earlier up here. If this kid is not someone who's on your roster, how would this, the issuance of the referral be made available to such teacher? Because I think in Skyward, I believe they can see the discipline, correct?
Correct.
I don't know if the referral comes back in an email form, or, it's been a super long time since I've done referrals, but you can see the discipline marked on there, right? But if they're not a rostered student, what would be the proposed way to, I don't know, that's what I'm asking, I don't know what
That's a tricky one.
I know that, I didn't raise my hand.
that's okay, Mr.
I know that I received an email of what has transpired from a child that I have written on my roster. So an email does come from the administrator who gave the discipline, and it tells what has happened. So that is a formal email that the teacher.
But does it come from Skyward, or your admin who's doing it?
I'm sorry.
Does it come through Skyward, or does your administrator do it?
I don't know, I think it comes from Skyward because of how the format
Okay.
is.
All right.
So if it's a
But that's only
student
for
that's not on
children
the
that,
roster?
that's
That-
on your roster.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's why I was curious, yeah.
I think whoever writes the referral gets the email once the referral's been processed.
Uh-huh.
From Skyward?
And you can
From
set it up
Skyward.
differently.
Steve?
Because I know that where the gray area would be with, I'd say more than half of the referrals I've written in 20 years were not my students. I mean, because we all have hall duties, we all have,
Yeah.
we're doing our stuff, and that's where you have kids that, pretty much we manage our own rooms, our own classes. It's the ones out there that we don't know who Johnny is, or Johnny. And we don't have time to work with it, what you're doing is wrong. I know I don't get back through Skyward, I get deemed, hey, well, Johnny did this, and we got it, and Johnny's gonna take a day off in ISS. I know that'd be the gray area, put in the statute, how we put it in the contract. How do we find that access back to the teacher who writes them up? If you're doing holiday duty, or if you're watching, you got lunchroom, or you got court guard duty, morning or afternoon. And that's where, that would be the difficult thing to manage through the computer. I wouldn't know how to do it, 'cause I'm not very good with computers.
Yeah, it's like Ms. Churchwell, it's like when we asked before about if it was one of your kids and somebody saw him doing something, you put in the
They come to
referral,
me,
you would say, so-and-so reported to me, this happened.
Yes.
Or then you would get the response back,
Yes.
but you weren't, you wrote the referral, but you weren't the one who
Saw the.
who saw the infraction. So I just want to make sure, whenever I'm reading this, I don't, again, I think Focus is done the same way where it is with, you have access to the roster child, student that you have. But if it's, Steve brings up a great point, if you're doing this for someone else, I don't know if there's a way to make that occur that way or not. I'm not 100% sure on that one. So that's something I'd like for us to talk about and take a look at.
And excuse me, Mr. Ballmer, I know that we're going to a different system
Yes.
next year. And in my mind, what I'm thinking about is when Skyward came up, the behaviors were not as extreme as they are now. So in looking at the new program that's coming, that may be a question that whomever's dealing with them can ask. Because we have to adapt, is that something that the new system would be able to do, that we're discussing right now?
So are you able to write a referral on a student that's not on your roster? You can write the referral. So the system sees that it's you that's issuing the referral for another.
And some of the pictures you have on there, and they're a junior, and the picture they have on the Skyward is their third grade or fifth grade, anything like that. I don't think it was a.
And that might be set up differently, Val, at the different levels, elementary, middle, high. I really do not know exactly. And as we said, as Ms. Churchill said, we're going to a new system, we're going to Focus. And those kind of details, I don't know if that's something that's been worked out just yet.
May I ask another question?
Of course.
Elementary school administrators, I was under the impression that I could only write referrals of students on my roster. Is that just for elementary?
There used to be a way.
Yeah, if you go the back way.
Yeah, but not everyone knows how to do it.
Okay.
but only for instructional, like support staff.
Right.
Yeah, as Brendan just said, like if you're in elementary, fine arts might have access to everybody because they do specials or wheel or whatever you want to say. So that, I didn't think about that, that would make sense. By Mrs. Churchwell, I mean, she has her kids, the teacher next door, she may know all their names, but she's not seeing them on her roster to be able to do that. So some people may have more access than others, that may be why Mr. Richardson has more access than others, because he may have that part I don't know for sure. So that's something, if we can come back and talk about that in just a little bit.
How to get the accurate name.
Yeah. Good luck on that one.
Steve, I think with Focus, if we can have something where if they can write a referral from any student, on campus, and then there's an auto-populate or an auto-generated email, just like the one from Skyward for your own roster of kids, like that would be the easiest way to go. I mean, generally speaking, I don't think like 80% of referrals written by teachers are kids outside of their classroom. So, I mean, we're not talking about a whole lot, but it would be nice if that was just efficient communication.
Yeah, to be able to go back to the person who wrote it. Michelle?
If applicable, it'd probably still be smart to have the roster teacher get that back in email form as well. That way, things that are happening with your students.
Right.
Yeah,
not
because
that you-
they're with the kid maybe all day long.
Right.
Oh, yeah, if
Good
my
thinking.
kids on roster, I do get their,
Yeah.
When they use it, no.
there's a trouble, they got, little Johnny again, was breaking the bathroom toilet again. I get informed he will be home for 5 days. I do get.
If somebody else writes in.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I mean, all of ours is changed, different classes all day long.
Yeah. But like in the elementary world, if you've got that student all day long, Mr. Mayor brings up a good point, it'd be good for that, the teacher who has that roster to know exactly kind of what happened as well. I didn't think about that.
It's imperative on my campus.
Oh, I agree, I believe it would be imperative on any campus because, especially in the elementary, that's the classroom teacher is the point of contact for the parent. May very well ask Ms. Churchwell, what happened? Ms. Churchwell's like, I'm not 100% sure what happened because this happened in specials and I'm not the special teacher. So it'd be good for her to be able to see exactly what occurred, at least be able to talk to the parent about what's written, to recite that out. So that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that one, Sean. That's something that we dealt with much. Mr. Goolsbee, you want to explain a little bit about this one, the number 5, with the teacher whose student has been arrested for any type of felony charge?
All right, so we do have a district procedure where we do receive information from the sheriff's department. It is sent to the superintendent and we distribute it from there. I do have a copy of it, but we do refer to statute 985.101 and then 985.04. So we follow the language from those 2 statutes as we've been advised. And I don't know if you guys looked into that when you're in the question, but that's, all right, so
Yeah, he's got a copy of that.
which one are you on?
That's 985-101 or whatever it is. Have the other one here too. There's another one. This is the 985.04.
So the provision, the immediate classroom teacher means any teacher that student appears on the roster?
The advice that we are given is, well, first, the information is distributed to the classroom teacher, but then it also talks about students under their supervision. So like, if it's like, we include like transportation and a bus driver.
Okay.
All right, we would include, and the principals have the discretion at the schools, like if it's a football coach, or maybe it's FFA after, like, that would be, you know, we distribute it to the principals and they go from there.
Okay.
So I think just in general to, like, if there's a random, you know, whether it's instructional or support, there's an extra body and lunch duty, you're probably not telling them.
Mhm.
But
But
if-
somebody who works directly with the students, like where
If
we
we-
discuss paraprofessionals, IAs who work one-to-one with students.
Yeah,
who
like a
work in the
one-on-one
classroom.
with an IEP, or let's say even like, and you, I'm sure you already covered this, but like if it's in middle school and you're on you're in a class with an inclusion model and you have that second teacher, like they obviously would have that information. So between the two statutes is really how we have, blended our notification procedures.
It's already happening. And at the
Yes.
time that that information is shared with the staff person, they're made aware that it's confidential and they
Yes, so
not to
so the other.
discuss down the hallway with friends
Absolutely,
and
so
family.
the other, just in the reference in our procedures, we also include 98504 for its oath, records and confidential information.
Gotcha.
And I would say typically your other kids will bring you pictures of mugshots on their phones before school starts. And they'll tell you before you go, oh, we got an email on it. I've had that happen a few times.
So, Ms. Crosby, do you see anything in that number 5 that would cause an issue with what we currently do?
Number 5.
It's the teacher one, not the support one. Arrested for any type of felony charge, be notified as soon as possible.
No, I mean, I feel pretty confident that we're executing that.
Okay, all right, good. I
But
just
you
wanted
wanted to clarify that it needs to be the rostered student, or can it be, is it,
teacher, student who's,
Because I've had it done with both students in my class and in my FFA club too. I do turn those in.
So you're working directly with those kids too,
I
so.
had one kid was supposed to go on a field trip the next day.
well, Mr. Richardson, do those kids, do you have access to them on Skyward FFA?
I do not, well, a majority of them, yes. Now that all your classroom teachers currently are full FFA members, as a state statute they just passed, this last year actually, which is kind of cool. But I have, with the students, when we only had 3 classes to the program, offered in Citrus County, I'll have kids that skip a year and still be allowed to be a fully qualified FFA member
Okay.
for between a year. A lot of IB kids I'll get them. But if they're, I'd say less than a half a dozen I have that are on my FFA, but they're not on my roster, I don't have access to them.
Okay.
But I mean, I have their phone numbers and their parents' phone numbers.
I just know that with, kind of with that Panther Hour thing, sometimes those things were put on rosters and stuff. I just didn't know if that was something that would be put on there. But sometimes they'd have on there.
Actually, my Panther Hour kids, I do have access to them.
Because they're scheduled, they're.
Right, and even if I've never had them in class, I didn't think about that. I do have access to them, because I had to write one up.
Because they're on your roster, they're on, okay. Because they're a rostered student. So, I mean, is that what? I
The
mean,
only thing I worry about is if we limit this to the rostered students. Now, you may have teachers who are working with a student who has had some sort of run-in, and it may be perceived that there's no obligation to inform that teacher who's working with that student.
it looks like the statute says immediate classroom teachers.
Can say a teacher who works with.
They're the teacher of record.
And I didn't mean to muddy it anymore, I just
No,
didn't.
No,
make a
I
decision
understand.
No,
about
I
whether
understand
the kid was on the
why.
roster or not, so I think that
Yeah.
needed to follow.
No, I
suit.
understand why.
No, but this is why we go through it, to make sure that in the future, there, we kind of, at least we've done everything we can to clarify.
It does say immediate classroom teacher. Doesn't mention that fail.
And then on 985, I'm so sorry, on 985, 101, under B, and this is where we've kind of blended the two in our procedures, and this is where I think we include, you know, those other people, is that, and it's probably about halfway down, section B, where it talks about, the principal must immediately notify the child's immediate teacher. Well, hang on, I'm lost myself.
I see what you're talking
There's another one that says appropriate personnel.
Principal must immediately notify the child's immediate classroom
It's right-
teachers
it's
information
right above that.
provided.
Yeah, the sentence above that.
Okay.
The information obtained by the superintendent of schools pursuant to this section must be released in 24 to the appropriate school personnel, including the principal. So I think some of the appropriate personnel would include those in direct supervision, coach,
FFA.
sponsor, right, man direct, like, I think that's where we get into bus driver.
But
Yeah.
I think this makes us, the superintendent is responsible to notify the principal, and then from
Yes.
there, the next sentence says the principal must notify the child's immediate classroom teacher, so it
Flow.
really doesn't address the extra, that, I don't think where it says appropriate school personnel, I don't think is intended for the
Okay.
superintendent to be telling the FFA teacher
Yeah.
that one of his.
It would be the
kids-
person who would have the better idea as to who the
Right.
appropriate personnel would be. That would be the school principal, who would know much better than the superintendent that,
Who needs
that,
to know.
yeah, that Janie is a cheerleader, and the cheerleading sponsor needs to know what happened. Superintendent may have no idea who the middle school cheerleading sponsor is, or if the girl's on that. So I believe that's what the intention was, is that it would be, that it would go to the principal would then let the people know who need to know.
Immediate teacher and
Appropriate,
appropriate personnel.
so was it at?
In the section 98504, under 4C, it says the superintendent must notify the other school personnel whose duties include direct supervision of the child, of the disposition of charges against the child. It doesn't necessarily say of an arrest, but of the outcome, I guess.
Right.
That's where I was on. Thank you.
All right, let's really see.
I see that. But that one says the superintendent must notify. Not the principal.
That's the disposition of the charges, though, once that has happened, if B above that talks about the superintendent notifying the principal, and then the principal must immediately notify immediate classroom teachers, bus driver, and any other school personnel whose duties include direct supervision of the child. So the two statutes are written a little differently, but kind of go hand in hand.
I believe the first one, part B is for charges, and
Yeah,
part C is for the
Just after it's
disposition.
all been, you know, if the charge's been dropped, or if it's been moved forward, the guilty, or if there's a plea deal or something to that effect.
Sorry.
Great, Christian. So, Christian.
So would a proper massaging of the language, looking at the statute, be a teacher who provides supervision, direct supervision for a student, yada, yada?
That to me seems like it would be in line with what the statute says. I mean, provides direct supervision of the child. not the kid walks by my class going, to the bathroom, something like that, but the one, if you're in charge of supervising recess, I keep going back to elementary because it's a little easier, because that's where you have those mixed classes, where you're out there supervising recess, there's a kid in another class that you're helping with maybe. But to me, that would make sense. Does anybody else have any suggestions or any issues with that?
So administration will notify a teacher who provides direct supervision of a student who's been arrested for any type of felony charge.
As soon as possible, such as we treated. That seems to be appropriate for, as it's written in the statute. All right, does that sound good to everybody, or any other questions on that one?
I have a question. Do we have a similar provision in the support contract for the paras and support people who work with the students? Okay.
Here, I believe there's a part. Yes, part little, H, I believe it's under there.
Oh, number 5, H5.
H5, okay.
Okay, and then the last one, number 6, is the one that has to do with the
Yeah, they try to get,
permanent removal.
yeah,
Right, we added permanently removed to clarify the
Yeah,
distinction
between-
between give me a break and,
does that make sense to everybody if it says permanent removal instead of just the removal, because that was, I don't believe that was the intent, was to, if the principal or somebody comes down and removes.
trigger the
Yeah.
PRC every time.
Yeah, I mean,
you
that's
take a
not,
kid for a walk.
sometimes it's just that kind of day, and we're not, if you're the one, everybody's gone on a field trip, but Jimmy did not get to go, it may be that kind of day, right? And that's, so, Val, which part would that would be on 6, teacher requests that a student be permanently removed for right? So what we're looking at, instead of just being removed for.
Right.
Todd, would you agree that that would fall a little more in line with our process of having the committee, if they were permanently removed from the class versus just a temporary removal? That makes sense. Okay. All right, everybody good with the language on those? All right.
So we'll just continue to work on number 4,
Yeah,
massaging it a little bit,
yeah.
see what we can come up with.
And then, let me see if I can find the support one. What did we say that was? That was
Working conditions,
working conditions,
Article
thank
8.
you. I know I have it pulled up under that.
I'm wondering if it wouldn't fix number 4 if we simply leave off for right now that last sentence, any action to be taken in response to the issuance of referral will be made available to such teacher. The system is reporting back to the teacher of record at this
Yeah.
time, right? And maybe as we look to a new system being implemented, we can explore and make sure that if I'm writing a referral on that kid in the hallway, that there's a mechanism by
Yeah.
which I receive notice.
And Val, I can tell you Skyward's morphed over the years as well. As it evolved with updates and things like that, we've been able to, once we ran into an issue, say, hey, can we get this changed?
Mhm.
And they've changed it. That's why, like I said, there used to be notes that you could put in there with the referral, and like I said, there's not anymore. We could go back and fix some of those things, but as we have those updates, we can definitely look and see, hey, can we add this to it? Can we add this? And we can't be the only school district in the country that's run into that. Yes, sir?
And Thursday, I have a subgroup meeting with Focus
Oh, excellent.
for PBIS and discipline, so I can try to weave that in.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bilsby, I appreciate that one. Be perfect. All right, so it was, I'm going to need to go over here. Would you say it was working conditions now?
Mhm.
Support, all right. It's all the way at the end, if I recall correctly. And those, we're not skipping over, we just already talked about the dress code, so we're just
Yeah.
moving down to the very bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
There it
Very
is,
last.
there it is, okay.
Yeah.
All right. District's code of conduct, we all agree to that. Have full support of administration maintaining appropriate behavior. Well, that kind of falls in with number 1, but okay. Number 3, work directly with students requesting training in classroom management, de-escalation, and other behavior strategies shall be provided time and opportunity to participate in such trainings. That's something Mr. Wilsby and I were speaking about that. That's definitely something we want to do. If someone wants to have additional training, especially to work specialized, not specialized, but in dealing with, they may not know, especially going into the school year, they may have some students that are a little different than the ones they had last year. We just need to come up with a way in order for them to, instead of us putting out, hey, we have these 40 trainings, and then if Christian shows up and it's just him and one other person, that's not the most efficient. What trainings are we looking for? So we need to come up with a mechanism in order to find out what trainings are in demand and be able to provide those during student contact time if it need be, or whenever we have early release days.
Yes.
Yeah, that we have a few hours. I believe, do all the elementaries have behavior people at their schools that might be able to help with some of those
I
trainings?
don't think everybody does.
Okay.
We do, but.
All right, some of them do, some of them don't.
Some of the smaller schools have a shared.
Oh, so that's a shared one, okay. We may be able to find a way to do this across schools or something to that effect. It just, we have to, once we know what it is, we can plan it out and schedule it appropriately. So
Yeah,
that's,
I think the idea there is that, we know that our support staff who are in the classrooms working directly with students take on more responsibilities in dealing with behaviors from time to time, and that in order for them to be, well equipped for that role, it seems to make sense that when they express interest in additional training opportunities, that we build that into their paid time
yeah.
to get it.
And we do offer some, sometimes we offer trainings in the summer and whatnot, and people are paid if they choose to. We'll announce, hey, it's a paid training if you want to come to this training on de-escalation, or if it's not RTI anymore, it's something else.
Heather, wouldn't the logical thing be to do that if you know you're gonna have these students in those ESE pairs classrooms, that you would offer that training session to those ESE pairs at the same time you're offering the training sessions before school starts, so that they know what they're walking into? I mean, I know that Crest does an amazing job at that they have their paraprofessionals trained with working with different students. So I think that should be brought into the mainstream schools, so that their ESE parents know what they're dealing with and how to react to it. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. But I know it will help a lot of ESE parents that work in the mainstream schools know what to do and how to handle certain situations.
You're
Just throwing it out
saying to front load it in
Front-load
planned
it.
days or whatever.
Yes, it would, I feel, it would really help your ESE parents learn strategies that they can use with mainstream students that they might not realize or know the tools to use. I'm fortunate enough to have worked at Crest, so I do know a lot of those tools. But I feel like I have that advantage where other ESE parents haven't experienced that training. That I feel if they really would have had that, they would know how to handle ESE behaviors or anybody's behavior better. And what their triggers are, or what their issues are.
Was there an extra workday added, or was that Fernando I'm thinking about for support?
No.
No?
There wasn't an extra one thing added.
I agree with that 100%, and it's something I think that could be added into the back-to-school event when we have the events for the various, the breakout sessions. It's something that we could have a breakout session for ESE paras, the ISS paras. Also, I think would benefit from some sort of, de-escalation, behavior, some sort of training for support people for behaviors. I mean, I believe everyone benefits from de-escalation and those types of trainings, but especially, you know, the people who are working with students in the most maybe stressed environments.
So our language doesn't lock in a specific time or place when it has to happen. It's just an assurance to the staff person that if they feel the need and believe it's beneficial, they can make the request and time would be found for them to be trained during their paid hours.
I'd like to also suggest, since we have administrators here, that maybe we could do that on a half day as well.
Well, that's why I'm saying like the early release days, or I think there may be more of those this year, that to have them on those days, we just have to plan it out, say, hey, here's where we are. And we'll know well in advance when they all are, so we can schedule that a lot better so everybody knows, here's what's happening at this school, here's what's happening at this school. So, but we are in favor of that, of them having those trainings, okay? We just want to make sure that it's the trainings that people want.
Right.
It's not going to be one that's not, I don't want to say not useful, not as useful as it could be. So we want to make sure we have the targeted training that people are asking for. If not, we're kind of wasting everyone's time, and that's not useful at all. All right, so number 4, violent, uncontrollable, disruptive learning environments, report the behavior to a teacher responsible for it, or directly to administration for assistance. Is that not the case now?
I think it is. The idea here, though, is that the support person, if it's been reported and a teacher chooses not to respond or issue discipline, does your support personnel have authority to go to administration and say, I shared this with the teacher, I'm pretty sure she got busy, or he decided it was not rising to a level to be addressed, but I have a concern about it? Is that?
Mr. Deere?
I can only speak for my campus, but yeah, that's actually encouraged and necessary because of so many different moving parts, but we absolutely need them to report to us.
Bridget, do you guys ever, is that how it works on your campuses? I mean, I would,
Support can't put the referral
Yeah.
in, but they
Yeah.
from us, and I ask them to like send me a blurb, because I wanna use their words.
Yeah, and then just.
Right.
use that.
right, this church, well, it's kind of like what we talked about, right? Like, write it out so that way we can say so-and-so reported to me. So yeah, I just want to make sure I know that it was like that, you know, whenever I was at the middle school or the high school. If they saw something, I understand you can't put it in, let me know, we'll jump on it right away. I just wanted to make sure that it was still the case. So yeah, I don't.
Yeah, and I don't think it's our intent to encourage support staff to go directly to administration every single time there's a student behavior. But we also want them to feel empowered enough to respond to student behavior, that if I've gone to the teacher of record and the teacher of record hasn't responded, then I can check in with administration and make sure that administration is aware of that concern.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, well, I don't see, it sounds as if it's happening now, so I don't see any issue out in Christian with that being in there. All right, last one, Bree, I believe this is what you were talking about. Support person has been arrested for any type of felony charge, be notified as soon as possible for districts such arrests, such notice to be treated privileged and confidential information. So, Mr. Goolsbee, you're dealing with our legal advice we've been given before. Support person who's directly responsible for supervision of a kid, are there limitations on that? I mean, if it's an aide that's in the classroom all the time, that's, but what about if it's an aide that's at lunch duty?
No, direct supervision is what we've been advised on.
Okay. So that's what we've gotten legal advice on, is that it's direct supervision.
Directly responsible for supervision.
Yes. I knew there was, he has, thank you, a lot more experience dealing with that part than I do now.
Okay, so a support person who is directly responsible for supervision of a student who's been arrested for any type of.
Yes. And the other one, it talks about the bus driver and whatnot. But if, Mr. Ear, I'm gonna ask you about your school. So if it's Crest and we have an aide that rides the bus with that student, that aide would, because they're providing direct supervision for that student, so they would know.
Yes.
Does that make sense? I mean, it does to me. I'm making sure it makes sense to everybody else. In my head, it made perfect sense. Okay.
Okay.
Were there any others, language-wise, that we needed to talk about? I thought these were the ones, but I might have missed. I will email you those counters in just a moment, but have this up here.
We discussed seniority and how it's embedded in RIF, and we need to parse it so
Break it
that
out.
it
But
mirrors
it's the
what's in.
exact, but it's the exact same language. We're just
Same
moving into
language.
somewhere else, correct? I thought, yeah, that's what we
Same
talked about.
Yep.
Did we sign the sick leave bank one to move it from one place to the other?
We did.
Okay. There were a lot of them, Val, I apologize if I
We,
missed it.
we paid a lot of movement in it. It's gonna be so much cleaner for it.
Maybe Val can have you plug this back in. And I'm gonna send you all those proposals. I get the email.
So the other thing that I had suggested we need to, spend some time on, I don't know that we need to rush to do a cleanup of it right now at this time. I think the retraining, which appears in two different places in the, and has two different, I don't wanna strike it. I feel like the retraining, what worked its way into the two contracts for a reason. There is a budgetary implication for retraining, and those funds are currently being used, my understanding, to reimburse for certification, completion, things like that, right? Test
Tests that they take and they.
Test
So we,
reimbursement.
yeah, we add, ask them.
Adding,
Mhm.
okay, so it serves a purpose, I just think that the language that we have is a little messy, and maybe, we go ahead and move it into the appropriate, article as is, and.
What do you think the appropriate article would be?
So for, I think it's gonna be, in compensation and insurance. Because it becomes reimbursement for,
Okay.
certifications, right?
Yeah, I guess it does.
I mean, the other place I would think, if it's not in compensation and insurance, then it probably belongs under, teacher and support personnel rights, Article 7. My thinking is it's, compensation. You're reimbursing people out of that retraining line, and so.
No, it makes sense when you explained it. It wasn't what, in my head, it wasn't what compensation was, but I understand what you're saying is that someone
The
has
output.
done this and they're being reimbursed, they're being compensated for what they've already expended out
Right.
for this, upon completion of it.
So it's the one thing that I feel okay about leaving messy. And perhaps suggesting that the next leg of work for retraining is a subcommittee, a small group of folks who maybe can do the research and look and see what was the original intent, and does that original intent still serve us? And do we need to
It's,
do something different, right?
now, where is retraining at
Depends on which contract you're looking at.
in the instructional one?
And instructional retraining is in leave, I think.
Article 10, Section H.
In H.
It's for whatever reason, it's listed under leaves, which makes no sense whatsoever.
No, that makes total sense. With everything else in that contract, that falls right into line with what I would expect in HRA.
So just the suggestion that it goes to compensation and insurance as is, and then we form a subgroup to take a look at it over the course of the next year to see what might need to be revised.
I'm sorry, I'm getting to it, it's just taking a minute for it to. Oh, yeah, so right after FMLA, that makes perfect sense, that it would be there under Family Medical Leave Act.
Mhm.
It's another one of those where it just, I never even bothered to look and see what it was connected to. Just went to retraining whenever you needed it. So literally just moving it down one.
And, yeah, and let's think about fixing it in a
Yeah.
more intentional way. 'Cause I mean, I just don't know that the retraining language spells out the creation of a committee
Yeah, I
and
was
who
just telling
sits
you.
on the committee and decisions being made by this committee regarding who gets paid out and
The chairperson and,
so maybe we just need to put that into a small committee and bring it back at another time. Not this round. Kim can help me through that.
I got you.
all right, so was there any other language other than,
I don't think so.
I mean, before we step out on the economic one, I just wanted to make sure that we've gotten through all those. I thought that was it, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, I think we went through everything else. Yep, I think that's it.
Is that it? Okay. All right. I'm gonna pause on this in a second. We're gonna move caucus. We'll talk about the economics. We'll be back here shortly. We will be up in the HR conference room,
Okay.
2274. That'll probably be the last number called on there with you, I guess. You let me know if it starts, right?
We are good.
Excellent, all right. You weren't here last time, you don't know
Just the
how
little
relieving that is, yes. Ooh, I was a little bit worried about that, I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, so, all right, sorry that took so long, we had to go over a few things. All right, so, did you email? Val, I didn't.
I haven't yet.
Okay, I was gonna say, I didn't get it, so I just wanted to
and
make sure.
We do want to revisit the protection for planning time and have a conversation about that.
Okay, all right. Can I have that? Okay. All right. Yeah, what's up, clerk? I appreciate it. All right, so, it works. It does. It's a small one. Okay, there it did work, okay. All right, so, here's our counter to economics. I'm gonna try to zoom it in a little so everybody can see. All right, so, it is an increase to market adjustment of 1% for instructional. That includes the TSIA is included in that. Performance pay and required by statute remain at $32,000. Retroactive July 1st. Support will be $305,200. Paid holiday for all non-251, that would be Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Salary increase would also go up to 1%. And as before, those who did not receive a step will receive an additional 1.5%. That would be retroactive to July 1st, 2025. And the board match increase of $20 per month, effective the 12/15/25 paycheck. So the total amount for that is $1,253,900.
So, I appreciate that, any movement, is the product of scrutiny and trying to find ways to squeeze a little bit more out of what we know is, a dried up lemon. I don't know how else to describe it. I think we understand the district's budgetary situation is definitely lean. I think we had hoped that by proffering the 1.1 as a non-recurring, that there may be opportunity to sort of encourage people to stick it out, knowing that this is a lean year, and hope for better times, knowing that next year being an election year, governor will be on the ballot and perhaps eager to win favor. We may see positive things come out of the legislature. I know we can't bank on that, but the intent was to try to get people compensation-wise to the neighborhood of 2%. My fear is that we won't be able to get ratified a 1% increase.
I hear what you're saying. The additional monies that were increased in this were only available, Ms. Cox, after meeting late last week with a few departments, was able to find is not the right word, grasp and hang on to money that might have been considered for what-if scenarios, that we are no longer acting as if what-if will take place. We will deal with it if it does take place. So that was the additional $95,000, which we got, I think it's $94,900. Yeah. And so we got as much of it as we could without really starting to get into a penny here, a penny there. So that's where the additional money came from. All of it that was found was put into this proposal. So there was none of it that was put into any other groups or anything like that.
So for the benefit of everyone who's been part of or following along with the conversations, and knowing that we sit at this table and negotiate only for the employees in our bargaining units, we will surely be asked how much is being held for administrative salary increases.
Is she asking that now?
I'm asking now.
There's not any. The money that's on the table here and the money that we have set aside is for our support staff. If they have insurance, the board match would, I guess, could be considered, a board match increase could be considered a compensation of sorts. take an additional paid holiday if they, somebody can find a way to do that, but
So-
there's nothing. This is what it is.
So it's customary in a traditional bargain to reach a point at which one side or the other declares they're at a best and final. On the economics, are we at a best and final?
For salary, we can't do anything more for salary. Now, if you're talking about insurance, the only thing we can do for insurance, just sit still for a second, all right? Don't get mad at me, Brendan. If you look at insurance down here for board match, we can't do any better for board match. That comes straight out of the general fund as well. You know, so you're looking at $20 a month, and we have that in contract where it says blank amount per month beginning that paycheck. Now, $20, 72.22. So what is 5168's increase?
It is
Per month?
72.
$72. So a $20 board match increase would take 5168. For those, I'm sorry, I apologize. 5168 is the insurance that like 80-something% of the people on. It's a single coverage. I apologize. We talk about it all the time. That has an increase of $72 and something.
72,
22. Okay, so if the $20 board match, you're looking at 52.22 divided by 2, you're looking at 2611. 2611 per check. That is a 10% increase. That is a 10% increase because of our claims that have gone up. Did you email the insurance committee about that? If you're on the insurance committee, you should probably received an email recently about our latest set of claims. Our pharmacy on that was $450,000. That's a new record for 1 month of pharmacy. And a lot of that has to do with it's September claims, people met their deductibles, so pharmacy doesn't cost them anything, so it's costing all of us $450,000. Here's something we can do, Val, that we've never done before, and I'm not 100% sure exactly how it works or if it could work. In addition to the board match would have to remain at that because, like I said, that's paid out of the general fund. If we were to have a, how do I word this? So if we had a premium discount, don't hold me to that word just a second. All right, I'm just talking out loud here. If we had a discount on the premium for active employees, so those who are currently working, or they, just let me talk for a second, or on FMLA, because they receive the benefits as those who are currently working. 52. So what if there was a premium discount of an additional $20 a month for those who took the insurance? Not just 5168, but all of the insurance. I know it's not a lot, folks, I know, but it's $20 more a month. But now, the only place that would be able to come from, since a premium discount, would be the self-insurance fund. The self-insurance fund would just say, we're not going to be collecting $20 of premium from these active employees through June 30th. It'd have to be,
So then The
But June 30,
the
see-
full increase would go into effect in July.
Or if that's something that we could find a way to budget the additional $20 on
Between
top of
here
that
and
board
there.
match for next year. Now, that's not a guarantee, folks. I am literally throwing spaghetti at a wall here, trying to see if there's a way we can do this. Now, the reason that's a problem, and I'm gonna say it, is that we're hitting our self-insurance fund pretty good with a $450,000 pharmacy bill this month, let alone the other claims. But this is the only way I can see where if you have the insurance, it's not affecting the general fund, so it's not affecting other people's salaries or something like that, but if you have insurance, it's gonna be $20 a month, it'll be $200 for the year. So he's got 7 months, it's $140 that you don't have to pay into insurance.
And if we can't find.
And it'd take me a minute to figure out the exact math on that, I'm just throwing out $20.
And if we can't find the funds, say the legislature finishes their business early, gets a budget timely, and before the end of the year, we don't find the funds in the new budget to be able to continue that discount, then in July, the premiums go up. By
They go up the
$20.
other $20. But now, and I know you all are tired of hearing this, Citrus County Rural Health, the pharmacy in Crystal River will open. When I say will open, it should be opening in days. When that occurs, we should see people having to pay much less out of pocket for medications. When I say out of pocket, we're talking about $20 for a brand, $5 for a generic. So if you're getting a generic that's costing you $100 a month to do it in Crystal River, you pick it up there, it's costing you $5, you save $95. But I'm sorry, yes, you have to go there and get established as a patient. That costs you nothing either if you have our insurance. So this could be, yes, it's a drive to Crystal River. Steve told us the other day, a couple of sessions ago, it's not that far. But this could be a way for people to truly give them an opportunity to not get hit as hard. And I don't know if premium discount's the right word. I don't know if you've ever heard of something. I'm just thinking, and it's a discount, it's not a rebate. It's just not charging as much. I don't even.
Yeah, I think other districts and locals have
They have a better word.
arranged mid-year
This isn't
premium
mid-year.
adjustments.
This isn't, oh, okay,
No,
you're
it
talking
would
about,
be-
okay, after,
it would
I
be for
apologize.
the- Right.
Okay, I apologize. That makes sense now. I'm just trying, if you give me a second, I want to do the math real quick. 40, ooh, I think I did.
What are you saying, another 20?
No, I'm just saying, that 20 comes from the board. Right. So 20 times. No, yeah, well, it'd have to stop, I know. Yeah, right. All right, so by 6:30, it would have to end the end of the fiscal year times 1,500. Yeah, so, yeah, you're looking at another $210,000 coming from the self-insurance fund to try to help.
And knowing that when the new budget comes, we'd have to look.
We'd have to look to see if that's
or
possible, if not,
pass it on.
but we can't have, this can't be a recurring thing for the self-insurance fund to kick in an extra $20 forever. That would not be sustainable. We're just trying to, and I know when people came to the board, they've been concerned about insurance. Believe me, he and I, this is our world we live in for years, so we understand. I know it's a little bit off the wall, but it's a shot in the dark, so to speak, to try to figure out a way to,
Admittedly, it would help
I know it doesn't help
folks who
everybody.
take the insurance
But-
from going potentially backwards a little bit, so. Okay.
I don't have that written out. Do I need to write it out and send it up for you, or
I think we would need to,
give me a second?
yes.
Steve, so what you're saying is another 20 on top of the 20?
This 20 is coming from the board.
General fund.
From the general
And then 20 is
fund.
coming from?
From the self-insurance fund, the 200, yes, through June 30. Through June 30. So now, what that would mean, though, is that if people retire at the end of the year, if they retire, they're no longer active employees, they would have to be, just like anybody else, they would have to pay the full price of the plan. Someone who goes on leave, if it's not FMLA, would be paying, just like they do now, the full price of the plan. This would be in a way like a board match, but only for active employees who take our self-insurance. The only problem, hang on a second, no, that won't work. What is 5172?
5172.
What did they go up this year?
$12.
All right, that won't work, because I can't have the Affordable Care Act plan pay less than they paid last year. So it'd be $20 a month, except for the Affordable Care Act.
Because they were paying $51, and the Affordable Care Act went up as well, and that's at 63, because it went up $12. And we have to stay underneath that
Okay,
government
all right.
agreement.
Give me a second, I'll think of something with that one. I just don't see where that one should be paying less for insurance than everybody else that,
Doesn't, because we have to stay.
How many are there?
there aren't as many, but if you were to, if
There's
it,
probably about maybe 10 to 20 people.
but it's open enrollment right now, I just,
But also, it's a very.
I don't want to be
deductible,
unfair
and
to
no
those
matter
who are on
the same
5168, and that just,
You're saying it's not that many, right?
yeah, sorry. I really didn't think this through 100%, just trying to come up.
No, I appreciate.
No, I'm trying to come up with something to help.
I appreciate creative problem solving for sure.
So how much did they go up?
$12. So they went from 51 to 63.
All right, so what was the increase of this was 72, let's see if I can do a percentage of this. All right, so 72, 20 divided by 72, 20, so we'll say a third. They went up 12,
$12.
so if we knocked a third off of it, because that's what this is, knocking a third off of that, so if we knocked $4 off of that, where we have $8.
So then that would be up to, they would go, $8 would be 59.
So they would go to 59. All right, so how about this? And I can try to write it up in a second. All right, employees on plan 3359 and 5168 and 5169, that's employee plus one in family. Active employees would see a premium discount of $20 per month, beginning the 12/15 paycheck, through June 30, 2025. Those on plan 5172 would see a $4 premium
Per
discount per, no, not per check. How much did it go up? I apologize.
Went from 51,
What's the amount per month?
63 per checks, so 63 and 63.
I would say it's-
It's 120.
So it went up 24 per month?
No, 12 per check.
So 24 per month. So yeah, so it'd be $8 a month, so $4 a check. So they would see a premium discount of $8 a month.
So then 51.
So 5172 would see a premium discount of $8 per month, solely because proportionally it'd be the same 1/3 as the others.
Gotcha.
Just try to make things as fair as possible. Everybody kind of with me on that? I'm sorry, stream of consciousness here.
The language needs to spell out that it's.
You not liking how I'm saying this?
No, I do. I
That
like,
it is- that
I
it
like
has
where
a-
your head's at.
Yeah, no, that it has a date that it.
Yeah.
We're glad you like it, because nobody else on this side of the table really,
Just
really.
roll with me on this for a second here, okay?
I'm not saying I don't like it, I don't wanna.
Yeah, I know.
not help everybody.
All right, so we're looking at, okay, this is gonna be more than one page, I don't like that. But so if we, all right. Premium discount. Beginning 12/15, 25. I don't like to call it check, because we don't give a check anymore, what would we call it? I thought it was a paycheck, yeah. All right. Val, would we say expiring 6/30/2026? So it's beginning 12/15 paycheck, expiring 6, let's say it's the end of the fiscal year. All right, that's 7 months. December, right, expiring. Would that, well, help us if I put expiring in there? I apologize for that one. All right, so plan 3359,
coming from the actual website where you go to apply. This is the actual website where yours from, what it says. That's what I'm thinking.
Premium discount, I'm just gonna call it premium discount again.
And this is actually,
No.
I haven't been on insurance yet.
That benefit guide that you're looking at
Or
does not have, it's just 606.
active
That's what the current.
employees.
Yeah.
So that is what.
Now, plan 3359
That's what I
is
shared
all
with
of them on
everyone.
that plan, so there's just
Right,
one,
what,
everyone on 3359. Plan 5168 is just single, and then 5169 is the employee plus one or family. I can break it all out, but plan 3359 is, that's just what they call all of it. So it has a single, it has an employee plus one, and it has a family. All of 3359 would receive that. Plan 5168, which is just a single plan, that's the plan that most people are on.
right.
I used to know the exact amount, but I do believe it's. Yeah, if you like, I can break that out and put, 3359 employee plus one, 3359 employee plus two. Now, understand, if we have spouses that are on the family plan together, both of them would receive, this would be per person, almost like, act like as a board match.
So can you
Temporary.
calculate for my brain?
No.
'Cause I'm really.
No, I will try.
Calculate for my brain.
Run a while here.
On the actual app that we have when we get insurance, what it says now is that the employee single plan for the 516 and the 68, as it reads, it says it's $94.24
Correct.
with the board match of
606.
606. So what would that look like?
All right, so.
I want the number, so
Yeah,
when
give me a
I.
second. So we're on 5168,
Yes.
right? Okay, so right now, what did you say it was? I'm sorry,
It says,
9424.
94.24?
yep,
Okay, so the board match. Okay,
606.
no, the additional board match is $20 a month,
Okay.
all right? So with the premium discount,
So it's gonna be a total discount of 626.00 for active people only.
so, I put the right one on. All right, so, you got 94.24,
Do we want to do 5168? Want to do it by the month? Because 9424 is per check.
it is, okay?
Yes.
So what is it per
So
month?
per month is 188.48.
All right, 188.48,
That's the month.
that's the cost right now that they'd be
That's
paying?
per month.
All right, no problem. So then I got 188.48 minus $20. That's the board match.
Yep.
Minus $20 for your premium discount. So your per month amount, oops, didn't mean to do that, I apologize.
148.48.
148.48. That's a month, not per check. Okay? So per check is gonna be what, Brendan?
74.24,
Okay? 74.24
which is a difference of 1611.
per check. And how much is that? Is an increase of how much?
It's 1611 from what they're paying right now.
16, I'm per check. I wanna make sure everybody could, is that helping at all?
Yes.
Okay, no
It
problem.
clarified it.
No problem,
It really did. For
No,
me,
I'm-
it really did.
I was running wild with that for a second there. If I confused anybody, I'm sorry. It was not on purpose. It's just I really locked in on this insurance thing for the last decade, so. And that's just 5168, so it'd be essentially $40 a month.
But do we need to state on there after June 30th?
Well, that's what it says up there at the top. It just says it expires on this date. And then we would have to write in there, beginning 7/1. You know, that's why we put the part, we'd have to highlight, bold, underline, italicize, giant font, the beginning and expiring part. And I'd have to still put 5172. Sorry, I didn't put that one up here yet. Jumped ahead. Val's kind of used to this. She's used to doing this. 5172.
5172, because we don't have anybody in 5172.
What did we say? I already forgot. What did we say it was?
$8.
$8 a month? Okay, thank you. Yeah, we don't have anybody on those for, and I will, of course, erase this, my silliness down there on the bottom. Folks, I know that's not the best news ever, but it's 1611, a check-in increase is much better than what it was, so. But with that being said, we're gonna have to figure out a way as a group to change our behavior and try to, you know, we can't control what the hospitals charge and everything, but we gotta, if we're gonna make this work, we gotta kind of all work together to make that happen. Afraid to see. I can't think of anything else next to me about it.
I will be writing a strong letter to you.
I don't know how this is gonna go.
I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I don't think we have that control. I mean, we've spoken to my health on site multiple times this week, and the plan is, yeah, the plan is November 1st.
Oh, I am.
That's the plan,
Yeah.
but again, not that many people did their establishment, so they gotta get established first. And that's the biggest thing. I mean, yeah, you definitely save for 30%, 40%, but if you got it. Right. Oh, 100%. And it's, I had somebody that, maybe, I could you guys or something, when Crystal was helping, they were able to help them.
I was gonna say, I could try to show it for every plan, but I'm like, it's gonna be a mess.
But-
They need to be your poster child.
Right. They've got like all 1,588 members that are on medicine. Just to see it out, so.
I mean, it makes sense to me. That doesn't mean it makes sense.
Right.
Is there, and seriously, is there anyone that has any questions? Because like I said, in my head, this makes sense, but if it doesn't make sense, I'd be happy to try to explain it.
We can make the medicine, not the person.
It's another 210,000 out of the self-insurance fund, but I think it might help.
Okay. Well,
I know it's odd, I know.
no, we appreciate the creative problem solving, and I think we understand the lengths that you're going to help people realize a little bit more in their pockets, and given rising
Yeah.
costs.
And again,
of
like this
living.
one, there's no FRS or anything. If you're taking the insurance, you don't have to pay any of that stuff. It's just less money you have to pay, kind of like the board match was. So that's, I can't pay a salary out of the self-insurance fund, but if we can figure out a way, and I think we can, Jenny, so before you say no, I think we can do this. It's just less people have to pay without having to pay FRS,
So,
Social Security, Medicare.
You're saying 20 from general, 20 from the self-insurance?
Yes, this would be, the board match from the general fund would be 20 a month. The premium discount would be an additional 20 per month for those plans, and $8 for the Plan 5172. And there is no one on Plan 5173 if you're wondering why. We don't have anybody on those plans. They're too expensive, they don't have any coverage, the deductibles are crazy high. That's the reason why 5172s. You guys need it?
We will, but,
Yeah,
so
Now,
you
what was
have
it?
something to think about.
Yes, what was the other?
May I
You did the
plug
plug?
in and
Yep.
share?
Yeah,
we had a chance to caucus about
Alrighty.
the protected planning time, and in discussing among ourselves and with our guests, what does planning time look like? Hold on a second. My computer doesn't want to die on me here. We started sort of problem solving around the fact that the amount of planning time, the number of minutes available to people is variable, right?
Yes.
It's not the same across the board. And so, well, and my big head is gonna be right in the way, sorry. What we would like to do is take a look at protecting that individual planning and preparation time as a percentage of the available protected minutes. And
Ooh.
so, rather than 60 minutes, which on some campuses might be a period and a quarter, on other campuses it might be a period plus 5 minutes. In this scenario, the 60% protected planning time would ensure that in any given 5-day standard week, right, 3 out of your 5 planning periods would be protected for individual self-directed activities. We think that that might be a better way to address this, given the variability in the amount of minutes that are available to people, a little bit cleaner way to look at it. I know that I have folks on my campus that have 5 planning periods, 1 planning period every day of the week, then I know that twice a week, that planning time can be used for directed activities, and teachers can reclaim a little of their personal time at home by having 3 protected planning periods in a standard week. And so again, this is time that we'd be looking at being self-directed, initiated by the teachers for their use, whether they're grading or doing bulletin boards or emailing parents or independent lesson planning and preparation. It's a little different way to look at it, I know, but I think it might actually be more beneficial at the site level. We have a similar arrangement, I believe, in the Hernando contract that protects 80% of their planning minutes in the week.
What's their total?
We feel that
What's their total a week?
it's 150.
150?
So it's our assumption that there are campuses where people are getting more than 150 protected minutes a week, right? There are likely campuses where some folks are seeing nearly all of their planning time during student contact hours being leveraged for meetings and conferences and other directed activities. And I just feel like this might be a way to sort of reclaim some of that work-life balance for folks.
Can you send that to me?
I will.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And I did go ahead and touch up the rest of it too, so if you wanna work it and then print it.
All right, yeah, that'll work. You want to send it, I'll print it right
Okay.
down here. Okay. Thank you. Give me a minute now and I'll,
Send me the economic.
yeah, I'll send you. Do you want the crazy little math thing at the bottom, or you want that off
Yeah,
there?
give me all the mess.
Okay.
I know.
I'm just warning you, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. but-
I'll take this.
Okay.
It's okay.
Oh, share, wait.
Almost there.
Attachment.
Maybe.
All right. Christian, which one would you like? I sent it to both of yours. Which one would you like?
School.
School, okay, yeah. Never sure, so I just go ahead and send it to both.
So I'm gonna add one more.
Oh, come on, Val.
Edit, just in the list, under the planning time where it says special schools or programs including but not limited to may be exempt due to unique scheduling. For some reason, we still have Renaissance in that list, and I don't think that applies in our contract anymore. Our contract doesn't apply on that campus, right?
Not right now it doesn't, but I'm not sure exactly what the status of that's gonna be in the future. CERMI was working out of Marion County, and they aren't working in Marion County anymore. I think this is the singular, so I mean, we can leave it in, we can take it out if you want, we can leave it in.
Is there a chance that it's coming back under the
It
district
might,
umbrella?
I truly do not know yet, but I mean, if it's more cost effective for us to run it versus hiring them to run it, I'm in favor of us running if it's gonna.
Okay, well, we can leave it in then. I was just thinking as long as.
No, I understand exactly.
As long as we're cleaning.
Yeah, while we're cleaning things up. All right, I just sent that over to you guys.
Okay.
All right, do you need a printed copy of that as well?
Not yet. If we
Okay.
touch it up, I'll send it to you to
Okay.
be printed.
And you're gonna send me the other?
Yes.
All right.
As soon as I can plug in.
Anything else before we hit pause on this again? You guys, a minute to talk? Is it not turned on?
It is now.
Oh, okay. Oh, was it before?
My battery's just dying.
Oh, okay.
You're on.
Well, okay, excellent. All right, so, thank you all for giving us a couple minutes to go through those. There's only one thing that we had a counter for. Thank you, I appreciate it. That's the one on the planning period.
Bless you.
Is it dust? You just do that. Take it out. There you go. All right, so, on cleaning period, the counter, instead of each week, at least 60%, it is 90 minutes, protected weekly minutes, shall be self-directed, planning and preparation time. That was through a conference with our school level administrators as to the what could be implemented at their school sites. Any questions, comments on
No,
input?
I'm watching people do math.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Can we get 5 minutes?
Yeah. Steve, did you turn this off? All right, so, well, we agreed with the last counter that you all had with the teacher rights. Pages ever made, thank you for correcting the permanent and about the rosters on there. Thank you very much for that. And
Yes.
about the planning time.
Right. So that would officially mean, with the exception of compensation, all the articles we're in agreement on. Yeah. We have to celebrate, right?
We needed a small moment.
And so that we can, also go ahead and close out the compensation article, the team, well, first of all, we wanna acknowledge that we know that when you're dipping into your health insurance
Unbalanced.
unbalance,
Yeah.
that we're really looking for solutions and scraping the bottom of the barrel, we know that. And we appreciate the extra effort. And believe it or not, we do think the extra effort will make a difference for people who
Oh.
will see the 10% increase on their health
Yeah.
insurance. And I think it's with confidence that our team feels we've been as thorough as we can possibly be in asking questions and trying to look for creative solutions. And at the 1%, with the additional paid holiday, we believe we are achieving two of our primary goals. Moving to a percentage adjustment, even if it's a 1%, it's a percentage that benefits addressing compression
Yep.
in the salary schedules. And that's always a priority for our people since the inception of TSIA and the $15 an hour
Yeah.
thing, right?
The double whammy, yes.
And then that additional paid holiday, I think is going to be viewed by many as long overdue, but much appreciated. And so with that, and taking into account the discount option, the premium,
Premium discount?
the limited time only premium discount. I feel like it should come with one of those big Starbucks yellow sticker things.
You know that stuff is not, that is not my expertise to come up with the right
The
wording for
verbiage,
that.
yes.
It's the big picture, I'm better at that.
But we believe with that, we are hopeful that the economic proposal has an opportunity to pass ratification, and so we will TA.
Excellent. I appreciate it, folks. I know this is a difficult year for everybody. This man here, to drop the self-insurance on him in a year like this, almost broke my heart. Jenny comes into a financial situation with declining student enrollment. Yes, she's still trying to find ways to scrape together money to try to improve things for our employees. And we appreciate you guys coming to the table and being willing to figure out a way to make this work, because it is not always easy, that's for sure. So, all right, so let's talk dates.
Okay, well, first,
November 18th.
let me confirm,
What are we looking at?
compensation and insurance. We are adjusting insurance to $626 per month to
Yes.
incorporate the $20 a month increase in the
Because
board
that
match.
is the board match. Because like I said, I know that part is in contracts written in there, so that's why this would have to be an MOU. Would it need to be an MOU for the premium discount?
It might be best, since MOUs expire, to put it into a,
Just thinking out loud, I mean, just say that it's a memorandum of understanding that for this amount of time, this is what's happening.
yes, yes.
Does that make sense?
Makes
Okay,
sense.
Make it clear for everybody.
And so that takes care of compensation and insurance, that's the last two articles. Okay, now let's talk timelines.
Okay, November 18th. That's the board meeting. It would be amazing if, for once, whenever I turned something in, it didn't have to say upon ratification. There should be almost enough time now, Val, so that's almost a month. Now, there are a couple non-working days in there. I recognize that, so I'm just trying to. What? Just trying-
Eight for Val, 8 non-working days for Val. She's going on vacation. So
She is?
I'm very jealous. Finally, well deserved.
I think we could probably need 10 days from posting. If I have the summaries drafted and ready tomorrow, summaries can go out by email.
So if you guys started next week, that would even be 10 days, right? 27th through like the 7th. We don't have any other days,
Now, the 27th and the 7th would be 10 days, with no days off.
right? 10 work days. And
We can probably get the ratification voting at the work sites by the 6th and the 7th. Tenth and 11th at the latest.
well, if you pull it off on the 11th, I'm gonna be impressed, Val. That's Veterans Day.
Oh, well, I
So-
guess that won't be the 11th.
You figure out a way to get inside the building, so I'm impressed with you.
So your 18th is the,
That's
board
the
meeting?
last board meeting before December.
So if we can't get to the 6th and 7th, it would be the 12th and 13th. We'll get it done in time for the,
Because I'll have to have the whole contract to take to the board. It's gonna be separate agenda items. It'll be the whole contract, support, whole contract for instructional, and then the pay will have to be separated from that. And we will have, hopefully, performance pay numbers in the next week or so, whenever we finally, it's tomorrow, they're putting them in, that's when they start, so we'll have the numbers of people who are effective, highly effective, and we'll do what we did last time, inform you all, here's what we have, and here's the amount for our formula, then we'll have HR send it up to everybody, copy Christian and Ken. Essentially just what we did last year, if that makes sense.
yeah, so, I mean, I think we can get it done. We'll need a coordinated communication to PERC to let them know that we have resolved impasse through
Yep.
negotiations. I'll need to start that clean copy of the final version of contracts right away.
All right.
So I think we're good. We can hang back and do signatures on the tentative agreements. And I know y'all are gonna miss meeting with us every other week on Mondays. So you know, don't be strangers. Feel free to reach out anytime.
All right, thank you, guys.